Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to a new YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, here we are for another AFL 2022 season review. And in today's video, we are back for another one of these. And now we are into the final four of the 2022 season reviews. The teams that made preliminary finals and grand finals. This is where it gets to the best of the season reviews. The best teams are coming up right here. And yes, some teams did have some very unlucky runs throughout the year, but Brisbane, they had a very lucky run in the end, finishing fourth. They lost in the preliminary final on Friday night. The Pies lost on Saturday afternoon, so that's why they are fourth and the Pies are third. Let's go ahead and see what's in today's video. So, of course, going to be going over the ladder position, which you guys may not be quite sure what I've meant. I haven't really spoken about it, but it means that the ladder position after round 23 and then how I put them after finals based on the order of elimination. Then recapping the season, highlights, best win, good players, low lights, worst loss, what's next, trade period and coach. Again, Brisbane, they're already midway through a big trade period, and I've got lots of news coming for you about the Brisbane Lions trade period and recap and the final words. So Brisbane finished 6th with a record of 15-7, a point number of 60 and a percentage of 119.3. But based on the trusty order of elimination, they finished 4th. They made it through to the final four teams remaining in the 2022 Toyota AFL season. They made it through to prelim final week before a horror loss. So Brisbane's first 2 weeks are quite interesting. They just put the power away by 11 in a thriller, and they just comfortably got over the Bombers. Not the easiest of fashion, but won by 22 points. And then they started to show a bit of class in round 3. Smashed the Kangaroos by 108 points at home on a Saturday night at the Gabba. And then they lost in round 4 to the Cats at Kardinia Park. They do not know how to win at Kardinia Park. And it was another tight loss. They lost there in 2021, really tight, by I think 1 point or 2 points, 3 points, something like that. And then again this year they lose by 10 points. And then a very decent win against the Pies, showed some class, even though the Pies played pretty strongly. They destroyed the Suns in the Q Clash. And then another really strong win is the Swans at the SCG. Very tough to beat them there. Very tough to beat them at the SCG. Only a couple of teams did that this year, which were Gold Coast, Brisbane, and there's probably a couple of others that did it as well. And Brisbane managed to do it, and they didn't just hold off in a thriller. They beat them by 24 points and owned the game. So yeah, really good win, strong win there. They comfortably got over the Eagles by 75. They got over the Crows by 36. And then a bit of a loss to the Hawks by 5 points in a game they played pretty well in, still managing to score 112, but a disappointing loss still there for Brisbane. And then got over the Giants by 14. Took them a little while to get off and running, but they did in the end. And then went over to Perth. Couldn't quite beat the Dockers in a game, though they still did put up a pretty decent effort. They got rid of the Saints. They won by 21 points. They got thumped by the Demons, which was first versus second at the time. Got thumped by the Demons by 64 points at the MCG in round number 15. And then they bounced back to beat the Dogs by 41. Now, this loss is going to sound a bit weird. They lost to the Bombers by 10 at the Gabba, which, yes, beating the Lions at the Gabba is a tough thing to do. And Essendon is a weird name, or a weird team name that would come up if you were to say, oh, this team beat them at the Gabba. Oh, it's Essendon. But Brisbane had, was it 7 or was it 8 COVID outs? And these are some good players that were out their side. That's why Essendon won by 10. And I mean, look, GG's to Essendon for that win on the day. But yeah, the Lions were without some of their best stars, hence why that was like that. And then they comfortably got over the Giants by 40. They got over the Suns by 17 in an interesting Q Clash. And then they choked a 42-point lead to lose to the Tigers by 7 points. And they would have won the game if they had have just kept the ball in their control in the last minute. Silly turnover cost them the game. And then they got over the Blues quite comfortably by 33 points. They got over the Saints by 15. And then round 23, they got thumped by the Demons at the Gabba by 58 points, which means if they were to go in advance to Melbourne, it looked unlikely that they were going to win. They beat the Tigers by 2 in the elimination final, and that was interesting because I thought the Tigers were going to win. A lot of people thought the Tigers were going to win. It was at the Gabba, but the Tigers didn't have too bad of a record there. But no, It was the Lions that prevailed in an absolute thriller by 2 points, 106-104. And then in semi-final week, this got the whole football world going crazy. Every single person, whether you're a neutral fan, Melbourne, Brisbane fan, no matter which club you backed for, this was sending everyone crazy. I was crazy after this game as well. It was crazy. Brisbane by 13. They beat the Demons at the MCG to end off their hoodoo. Unbelievable stuff. That was, that shocked the whole footy world. I'd guarantee you that pretty much everyone with that result would have been absolutely shocked. And then they got thumped by the Cats by 71 points to end off their season on a bit of a low note, but best win of the season, easily against the Demons at the MCG semi-final week number 2. And then they did have some pretty poor losses, but again, though, it is quite tough to beat the Tigers. That was a really poor loss, but then also against the Cats as well was another poor loss, and the times they played the Demons. So let's go ahead now and talk about their trade period, because we do know they have a big one coming up. So the Brisbane Lions have a massive trade period coming up, and also their coach, Chris Fagan. We're just going to go and skip to the coach right now. He's currently under a bit of threat due to this Hawthorn racism scandal. Now, what happens on that, not quite entirely sure next year, whether he coaches by round 1 or not. Interesting stuff, but I do want to go and talk about the trade period now, because this is one of the most interesting teams to watch in the trade period. Now, they have a lot of things they need to get done, and they've already advanced in a few things. First deal that they got done was McStay to Collingwood. He is all out of the way now. McStay to Collingwood, all done and dusted, with their compensation pick being 35, I believe. Now, they do still have a couple more deals needed to be done, but they also have Tom Berry. He has gone to the Gold Coast Suns as well, and the Lions made some profit out of this trade, because it was a Tom Berry swap to Gold Coast, but the Lions also made some pretty handy picks. 25, 36, 46, I think, or was it 56, something like that. And then they did some pick swaps with the Suns as well. Like, they just traded picks and Tom Berry in that big one deal to go and get some draft points for Will Ashcroft, who's expected to be bidded at number 1 by the Kangaroos. And then Jasper Fletcher, who's expected to go in that top 15, like you'd be thinking pick 12 to probably 18 sort of range. He'll go in the first round as well, so they're going to need enough draft points to bid for him as well. Jack Gunston, now, whether they do free agency to get him from Hawthorn to the Lions is another question. So Jack Gunston, is he going to go through free agency, or is he going to go through trade? Probably when this video is out, you guys will probably know before I do, because I'm recording this on the day of the final free agency, where no moves have been made just yet. But yes, Jack Gunston, that's another big one. But again, though, they should, if they do Jack Gunston through a trade, does it open up another potential pick swap? They might have to go into deficit next year, might the Lions, trading out their future picks for picks this year to get enough points. They've already got a pretty decent draft hand, but they will need a little bit more. Now, you know I haven't raised this name yet, and I am going to raise it now, because this is the final name that they want to get. And feel confident, Lions fans, because they should probably end up getting it in the end after doing a few pick swaps. They did a pick swap with the Giants, and then again with that Tom Berry deal with the Suns. And is there still more to be confirmed? Perhaps Jack Gunston, where does that go? Are they going to do more pick swaps with other clubs, trade out of next year's draft into this year's draft? The possibilities are endless, but the one name that I haven't raised yet, which is going to be quite tough to get over the line, but they should get him over the line, is Josh Dunkley. Now, of course, the Western Bulldogs star midfielder wants out to the Gabba. He wants to come to the Brisbane Lions. That's where he wants to play his footy in 2023. Now, the latest hearing on that is that they've been in a bit of a stalemate, have the two clubs, Brisbane and the Western Bulldogs. The Dogs' asking price is high, and the Lions have just traded out 15 for more draft points. So how they get this deal done, have to go digging into next year's draft, and it is going to be tough. They have to give up a player, maybe, but there's endless possibilities as to how the Lions trade period can go. And they probably just will set up some other monster deals coming up as well. So, Lions, keep an eye on them in the trade period. Finish 4th, disappointing preliminary final thump, but the MCG hoodoo that they've had for so long is officially broken. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys in another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Bye everyone, Flaming Footy out.